Oh boy, today it's a good show. Today I'm at Sakati Park. Okay, this is Laborers in the Harvest Ministry with your host Noel Marcos Mojica. Okay, and as you see, today is a cold. Today is actually the day after the big demonstration of the Occupy Wall Street movement, and so I'm here. All right.
The NYPD on the fact that everybody, since the days of the Romans, has been fixing tickets. Judges help judges, doctors help doctors, lawyers help lawyers, construction workers help construction workers. So if a cop helps out another cop's family on a ticket, why did he get thrown under a fucking bus for it? Now here's another thing, right? All these officers that are on the street, everybody bitches about the blue wall of silence, okay? Fuck the blue wall. Anybody know what the brass wall is?
Give me an idea.
What's the brass wall? Okay, what do they call brass in the NYPD? What is the NYPD brass?
Okay, so you're talking about this supervisors?
What happened was a social class was totally obliterated, the middle class. There is no middle ground, no middle class. So those middle class people became an underclass. These same white people that at first were privileged or were comfortable are no longer privileged, saying that people became an underclass. And by becoming an underclass, they became disgruntled and discontent with their lot in life. Then they want to, make noise. But the thing is, it's not even what this has taught me is it's not about color. See, because I've learned to be brothers with my white brother and brothers and sisters with my white sister. It's not about
hurt, they feel they've been taken advantage of from, let's say, the 1%. And also from people that are being bought in Congress. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for far too long, we've had our rights very subtly, but increasingly taken away. But we've been trained to accept it, to be complacent and just kind of comfortable. Because as long as you have, an okay job and an okay car and an okay TV, your life's good enough. Like, what do you really have to complain about? So, it keeps people in a very, accepting mindset. But now we see more and more injustices occurring. We see the First Amendment rights, being blatantly defiled as people are being attacked. And
but I have a question for you. Now, injustice here in America has always, there are certain groups in America, for example, let's say African Americans or Hispanics, or let's say minorities, they have felt, a certain amount of injustice being done to them. Now, but for some reason, there hasn't been an outcry like we see today, because injustice has spread out to not only the minorities, it's also spread out to, everybody now.
Now it's also the middle class's problem. So, the minorities have always had this struggle. They've always been limited, to their minority sides. It's hard to get everybody rallied up in a cause. I mean, we saw the civil rights movement where everybody finally did.
Because everybody feels it now.
Exactly. It takes an amount of spreading seeds before you have enough people to really bloom up with their zeal. So I feel like all of the preceding movements and revolutions that we see all throughout history, patterns repeating themselves, they've all been leading up to this, and now this is really a climactic point that we can go to a new level and change things. And that we.
So just to go back to for example, let's say black people, Hispanics have felt this certain amount of injustice for some time, and for some reason I don't see too many Hispanics or African Americans here. I actually see more Caucasian people. Because why is that? Is it because African Americans and Hispanics have, like you said, basically have become complacent? They basically said, we try to fight, but we did, and now we kind of lost. Nobody understood us. Nobody understood our struggle. But now the middle class, are feeling it, and now this is their time. And are you guys hoping that everybody gets together and, fights this cause?
Absolutely. I think it's been a while coming to get something that's big enough to rally all of the classes, that it's not just one class's cause. It's not just limited to one group of people. The We Are the 99% message really, it incorporates all of the injustices that have been happening for so long to the lower classes or the minorities. and now that finally, you know, like the middle class has felt it, you know, it's unfortunate that it took that long for it to take,
to respond.
You know, like that, oh, only once they start to feel it do we actually get something done.
Isn't that a shame?
Pretty shitty, but like...
and that's humanity, right? We basically, you know, when we're hurting, then we want to do something. But, you know, if the other person is hurting, well, you know, we feel sorry about them, but, you know, we're not necessarily going to demonstrate.
Exactly, and that's like compassion, like just like spreading, like opening your awareness and just being able to open up your inclusion of everybody and like get rid of these like separatist ideas.
Okay.
Come together, like that's what this is about.
I have one last question. Now, we see the injustice between man and man, you know, and where, you know, we basically, you guys want to, you know, organize to, I guess, fight back and try to take your power back and stuff like that. Now, my premise is, you know, how about do you feel like you have been, you have done God an injustice?
Well,
for example, have you broken God's laws?
Have I what?
Broken God's laws.
Oh, I don't feel, I mean, you know, I definitely won't say I've had some like crisis of a story of a life. Like I've had it okay, like just like okay middle class, like average kind of.
But the question is, have you broken God's laws?
God's laws?
Yeah, do you believe in God?
I think the term, I am a religious studies major and I'm very, I mean, I spend lots of time and I think.
So you're the right person I got it then.
Like you wanna, like I feel like meditation, prayer, whether you call it by different names or just spending a moment of contemplation or silence, whatever you call it, it's connecting to like an inner stillness, whether you are connecting to God or just feeling your own core, like spark of life. It makes you realize how we're all one. We all have that spark of life.
You know, I like the term that you use. You use a spark of life. So you feel that there's something greater than you.
Absolutely. I kind of like the way that the that the Taoists and Hindus sort of phrase it. It's like very flowy. Like the Tao is something that flows.
So you like the East? You like the Eastern religion?
I do, and I was raised Catholic though, so like I come from a strong Christian background, but
you know, I tend.
I acknowledge God in everything. It's just like recognizing the divinity in anybody who's alive and respecting that. Like Namaste, the light in me acknowledges and respects the light in you.
No, okay. So you don't necessarily believe in a personal God?
Not. I believe that all of the manifestations of God through different cultures are just different symbols because you're trying to connect to something sacred that's something beyond our senses. So it's by definition unfathomable to us. So by definition, all religious language must be metaphorical so we can try and wrap our minds around this because it's like language tries to convey the abstract.
You know what? I agree with you. You know, something that, you know, that as human beings we can't understand. But how about, for example, to my understanding, the Christian religion actually talks about that God, you know, that we can't go necessarily understand God, but God could come and allow us to understand Him. How about that?
That is, I mean, I would not disagree with that at all. Like, I feel like
isn't that the whole point of what Christmas is about? Is about you know Christ being born,
salvation coming to the world.
God becoming a man, you know, and basically, and then walking and living among us, and basically explaining to us, you know, who He is. I mean, isn't that what Christianity is supposed to be about?
It is, and so I feel like no matter the cynicism of the corruptions of all the religions or whatever, like the core message of each has the similar ring to it, that there's a divinity manifesting itself and making itself connectable and tangible to humans and like giving us something that we can like physically.
You really feel that? For example, I don't necessarily see that in Eastern religions. You know, their gods being too tangible.
It's not certainly not the same. Like Muhammad certainly didn't say that he was, you know.
Well,
God.
well, Muhammad, you're right. No. But I'm talking about Buddhism and Hinduism. Aren't they more like?
Well, Hinduism.
It's not. They're not very personal. They're not very.
Hinduism it's a very like sensuous religion. It engages all of the senses in its worship, and it has so many gods. But I think most Hindus would acknowledge that that's really just a symbolism for this manifestation of this ultimate one divine creator, like absolute cosmic principle that is in all of us.
So in Hinduism, or in your own philosophy, do you feel that as human beings, or do you think that this being is happy with what's going on concerning the corruption and?
Absolutely not.
No, why not?
Because it's the people that have been oppressing us have like lost contact with their heart, with their, they're like strangled by this like.
But isn't that the yin and the yang philosophy? Right, the yin and the yang. You got evil and you got good. Is that it?
Also, you do have dark.
There's too much dark and there's too little light.
Balance. Yeah, if the dark is like taking over on the light and the light's like.
Oh, that's not good. So so it's okay if it was a balance of good and bad.
I mean that's the dualistic philosophy.
You really do you like that? You like that philosophy? I mean, really thinking about it.
I like pieces of the good word.
Okay, thank you. Take care. All right. So. As you see, there's many people that have different philosophies, different thoughts, and we come. Huh?
I just got one question, but I want to ask it backwards. Why are the police officers selling guns in the 68th precinct? How come they have not been anything done? And if Michael Bloom,
did you say selling guns?
Are you unaware of this? You didn't.
Who is aware of this?
Google, the media, N.J. Burkett.
Selling guns to who?
You just tapped the magical question.